The time of the gentleman has expired. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes. I want to begin by thanking the witnesses for their testimony today. The Supreme Court, the highest court in our nation, no longer has the confidence of most Americans. This institution, an historic symbol of integrity and fairness that is meant to be free from politicization, now seems as politicized as Congress itself. And it's no wonder why. Report after report has detailed how some justices of our highest court are acting in defiance of the principles of ethics they are meant to uphold. They've accepted tens of thousands of dollars in travel and lodging benefits that don't get reported. They've refused to recuse themselves in cases where they clearly have a conflict of interest. And most recently, we've learned of a justice potentially catering to a special interest group and giving them advance notice of a pending decision. Every member of Congress and federal judges throughout our system, except those on the Supreme Court, are subject to a code of ethics to govern this kind of behavior. It's bewildering that the Supreme Court justices are not, and we're clearly seeing the results of that. We have trusted them to police themselves, and clearly they have failed. Fortunately, we know how to fix this. We can and must restore faith in our highest court, and we can start by passing the Supreme Court Ethics and Transparency Act, an important court reform package that would do just that. Now, I want to begin my question, Reverend Schenck, with you. This campaign, which I think to most Americans is just shocking, that there was actually a sophisticated effort to influence either by bucking up or strengthening the views or even changing the minds of justices of the Supreme Court on important issues, that this is shocking to me. But in addition to that work, was there also travel with supporters of the higher court campaign with justices of the Supreme Court, both to vacation destinations, vacation homes, and can you give some examples of some trips that the justices took, if any, with supporters of Faith in Action?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I was aware that Justices Alito and Scalia had visited the home, the second or third home, I'm not sure how they counted it, of the Wrights, Don and Gail Wright, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. They had both been out there to visit. I was not aware of any other in particular.
And were you aware on those trips whether or not the justices travel with their spouses?
I don't recall, Mr. Chairman. Maybe, and I'll just correct myself, I was aware of one trip that Justice Scalia took with Mr. Don Wright that involved hunting. I think they were quail hunting somewhere, perhaps even in South America, I'm not sure.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman, would you speak to this question? There's been some public reporting about this as well. Currently, are Supreme Court justices permitted to take trips, private trips with individuals can be valued at thousands of dollars without disclosing that benefit?
They are. There is a gift ban statute, but the regulations that apply to lower court judges do not apply, or the justices of the Supreme Court are not bound by that. And so essentially what you have is justices accepting gifts based on whether they choose to accept them or not. And everybody loves free trips, but certainly at the highest court in our land, we should have a transparent process for the justices to resolve those conflicts of interest.
And are there any limitations in the existing law or ethics provisions that limit what happens during those free trips that justices may take?
No.
And can you describe for the American people what is the consequence of permitting free gifts of any value as it relates to travel or other gifts? What is the potential danger of that? Why does it matter?
So obviously there's the potential danger of influence and the specter of wealthy activists using their money to get the justices to change their mind or decide in their favor. But more importantly, an independent and impartial judiciary is what ensures that the law protects regular folks like y'all's constituents and holds the powerful accountable.
And so if I have legislation that in fact would require the disclosure and set some limitations on travel that can be given to Supreme Court justices, would that address this issue appropriately?
While I certainly would hope that the court implemented a code of conduct, that would help address the issue,
If
yes.
the court fails to do so.
Yes.
Thank you. We now have 2 votes on the House floor, so we will recess immediately. I'm sorry, we will recess now and return immediately after the second vote. The committee stands in recess.